Incorporated is a nonprofit here in Boston that engages older adults and youth to strengthen communities and individuals. Before I begin to tell you about our work, I'd like to tell you about Mary Austin. Mary Austin was born and raised in South Boston, not very far from here at all. She worked her entire life for the city of Boston and retired at the age of 65. And for the first time in her life, she found herself alone and idle. A neighbor of hers recommended that she talk to us at Generations Incorporated, that we had a great program that trained people to be illiteracy tutors in the public schools. So Mary came and talked to us in 1995. She started serving with a team of her peers at the Condon Elementary School, again, not very far from here and just a couple of blocks from her house. And after 15 years, Mary was still working with children. Twice a week, every week, all year long. 6 different kids, twice a week, every week, all year long. I asked her 2 years ago, why does she do this? And she told me this story. All my life, she said, I've had chronic back pain, and when I worked and I woke up in the morning and I didn't feel well, I'd call in sick because I couldn't work. And now, when I wake up in the morning and I'm older and I have more aches and pains than ever, I get up out of bed and I go to that school across the street because those kids need me and I need them. This is the most meaningful work I've ever done in my life, and this is why I get up in the morning. I tell this story because it illustrates, I think, perfectly issues that we have at both ends of the age spectrum. At one end, there are 70 million people in America right now over the age of 55. I'm one of them. I'm an authentic older adult. We could live well into our 90s, and the operative words here are live well. It's going to be very, very important for this older population to be healthy as long as we can possibly be healthy. Retirement used to be a 10-year deal. Now it could be a 30-year deal. In 20 years, that 70 million number is going to skyrocket to 120 million as the boomers age. And so we really need to find ways to tap into this population and help them stay engaged. At the other end of the spectrum, this is something that should startle everybody in this room. 67% of this nation's 4th graders are reading below grade level. Right here in Boston, that statistic hangs true. And I don't know if you remember this, but we're in the 1st and 2nd grade, we're learning how to read, but by the time we get to the 4th grade, we need to know how to read so that we can finish school successfully. There's a very strong link between 4th grade literacy skills and high school dropout. Our solution to this is called Experience Corps. It's a program that now is in 20 cities across the country. It's a program that engages and taps into older adults and trains them to be literacy tutors. Here in Boston, Generations hosts our Experience Corps here in Boston. We have 330 people over the age of 55 who serve at least 5 hours a week tutoring children who are underperforming. And these folks are significant volunteers, 5 hours to 15 hours a week, working with thousands of kids here in Boston alone, 20,000 kids nationwide. The model works. 2 years ago, Experience Corps invested a lot of money, and Washington University evaluated the impact of the older adults and on the kids, and the outcomes were just startling. For children, students made 60% more progress than their peers in the control groups. For older adults, they had better health, mental health outcomes, they used their canes less, and had a happier lifestyle. I want you to look at this pencil, because that's how I think of the age spectrum, and it needs to be sharp on both ends. Kids need to have sharp literacy skills to be successful as they go through school and to contribute to society as adults. And older adults need to be sharp. As long as they possibly can be sharp, they need to be engaged in meaningful ways. Powerful opportunities for older adults to meet today's challenges. We do it with literacy, but we're not the only ones doing things like this. The Treehouse Foundation in East Hampton Meadow, out in the Berkshires, is another example of an organization that is tapping into older adults. The Treehouse community's goal is to get children out of foster care and into adoptive homes and into permanency. Judy Cockerton, the founder, is an adoptive parent herself, had this brilliant idea of building a community out in the Berkshires for adoptive families. She raised a lot of money and she built 12 single-family homes for adoptive families right next door to an elementary school. She also built 40 cottages for seniors. And right in this community, seniors who were alone and needed to be part of a community. The seniors do things like study with the kids after school, take them to doctor's appointments when their parents are working, teach them how to play the guitar or the piano, sit on the back porch and chat. The seniors are involved in a community that they care about. The kids are involved in a community that they care about. The families have the support they need to bring these kids out of foster care and into permanency. I'd like to close with one last story about a group of 7 women who all lived in Roxbury and were all serving on a team, an experience corps team at what was then called the Roxbury Boys and Girls Club, now called the Yawkey Boys and Girls Club. These women all started at the same time about 15 years ago. They didn't know each other, and they became fast friends because they worked on the same team with the same kids at the same place, 2 or 3 days a week. After a while, they started socializing outside of their service. They had dinner together, they went to the movies together. They decided at the end of the year to do an event to celebrate themselves. And guess what they did? They went to Foxwoods together. And they've been doing that for 10 years, planning their whole year for this big trip to Foxwood, which now requires a bus. And I just want to ask you, if you know someone in your life who is home and idle, or could be home and idle, but still has something that they can give, have them get in touch with us, and we'll put them on a bus and take them to Foxwoods. Thank you.